about confounding variables. There are confounding variables which are there always. They will be there with the independent variables because we select our sample and all the subjects included in our sample are not same. They all are different. So the individual differences among the subjects contribute to error variance. And there is a term con. Con means control the extraneous variance. We have discussed about extraneous variables, and extraneous variance extraneous variables must be controlled, so that we can say that the difference in dependent variable is only due to the manipulation of independent variable. Extraneous variables can be controlled by randomization and matching. When we select a random sample, we assume that the extraneous variables are cancelled out. And matching means we take we select the subjects in such a manner that each subject has a match. Or yes. And before discussing about the research designs, you should be familiar with certain terms. First, factor. What is a factor? The independent variable of an experiment is known as factor of the experiment. So, factor is the independent variable of the experiment. An experiment always has at least one factor. Second, you should know about labels. A label is a particular value of an independent variable. If we are taking two treatment conditions, suppose comparing two treatment conditions, and treatment 1 and treatment 2, then our treatment has two labels because we are taking two values of the treatment. So an independent variable has at least two labels. We can say that a label is a subdivision of a factor. And treatment. What is a treatment? Treatment refers to a particular set of experimental conditions. So it is treatment is nothing but the experimental condition. Suppose we are going to find out the effect of reward on verbal learning. We are going to compare those who are rewarded with those who are not rewarded on a task of verbal learning. Here, reward is the factor because we are going to find out the effect of reward. Reward is our independent variable and it is the factor. It has two labels because we are going to compare two groups. One group who is not rewarded and one group who is rewarded. So our factor is reward and our factor has two labels, reward and no reward. So subjects are assigned to treatment conditions. There are two treatment conditions, reward and no reward conditions. Okay. So let us discuss about various designs. The research design is planned depending upon first the number of independent variables, the number of labels of such independent variables, and the kinds of independent variables. If we have one independent variable, then we use a single factor experimental design. So a single factor design is followed where we have only one independent variable. And under the single factor design, we can have between group design and within group design. Between group design, in between group design, subjects are randomly assigned to different treatment conditions. That means in each treatment condition, different subjects are employed. I have prepared a PowerPoint, but I cannot show it to you. It would have been easier to follow if I would have been able to show it to you. Anyway, please listen mindfully. So, in between group design, in each treatment condition, different subjects are yes,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes. Are you saying something?
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but yes, if you are on a mobile or in a
No,
laptop,
no, I am in a desktop.
desktop. So, ma'am, on the screen towards the right, you'll see an option share screen. Maybe you can try that.
I cannot see that option. Share screen.
Share screen towards the right.
I cannot change layout, full screen, change background, captions, report a problem. No, I cannot see that
Present
option.
present screen. It is also not there.
Uh, Present now, yes, present now is
Yeah, ma'am.
yes,
Present.
yes, present your entire screen, a window, a tab. Which one I should select?
Yeah.
Your entire screen.
Present.
Yes, your entire screen.
What?
Then
Screen. Yes.
how to
Should be
go to my PowerPoint.
so, ma'am.
Yes,
On your desktop.
yes, you are on my desktop.
Need and click on PowerPoint meeting.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You need to actually click in and go to
Mm,
play it basically.
your voice is not audible.
Uh, ma'am, after this class, I'll explain. You can share then.
Hmm?
Ma'am, you
Sorry.
choose the
After
option
this
to
class, I can
share
share it with
entire.
you.
Oh,
Ma'am, you,
I cannot hear you actually
ma'am,
clearly.
you choose the option to share the entire screen, so that once
Okay,
you minimize it, you can go back to the desktop and you can select your PPT and show it to us.
okay,
Yeah, and also choose that audio to share the audio as well.
minimize. Can you now see
Have you?
my slide?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
No,
go
ma'am.
back Google Meet and go back Google Meet and share, and then only we'll be able to see it.
Okay, I will send it to you. We should not
Yes.
waste time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, remember in between group design, this in each treatment condition, different subjects are employed. So between group design is of two types: two randomized group design and multi-group design. In two randomized group design, there are two conditions. One first is experimental condition and the second is control condition. Subjects are randomly assigned to the experimental condition and to the control condition. In this design, we use t-test and man-Whitney u-test as our statistical technique, depending on the measurement scale. If our variable is on interval scale, we use t-test, and if our variable is a rank order scale, we use man-Whitney u-test. Multi-group design, there is another type of between group design, that is multi-group design. There are more than two randomized groups. If we have more than two groups, we use one-way ANOVA, one-way analysis of variance. If we are using non-parametric equivalent, then we can use Kruskal-Wallis one-way ANOVA. Multi-group design can be matched group design. Sorry, in between group design, we can matched group design. Matched group design means all subjects are first tested on a common task. Then they are assigned into different groups. The groups are known as equivalent groups. Matching variable is different from dependent variable, but it is correlated to different dependent variable. Matching can matching can be done by pairs, or it can be done in terms of mean and standard deviation. If we are going to compare the effect of study the effect of our independent variable, and we are going to compare the experimental group and control group, and we are applying the independent variable to the experimental variable, before testing them or applying the independent variable, we should ensure that both the groups are equal. Both the groups do not differ from each other. That's why we have to match them. So how to match them? The matching variable, we have to match them on some criterion. The matching criterion should be different from dependent variable. In many experiments, it is also same as the dependent variable. The matching variable should be correlated to the dependent variable, and we can match them by pairs. Match them by pairs means, suppose we are going to test the effect of teaching method on the achievement, academic achievement of students. Here, all subjects were administered some achievement test. Subjects who were having equal scores are divided into experimental and control groups. One group is taught with one method and the other group with the second method. It is often difficult to get matched scores. That's why we usually go for matching in terms of mean and standard deviation. We match the group in terms of group mean. So matching variable here is somewhat related to the dependent variable and subjects may be matched on age, educational level, learning ability or any variable, etc. The second type of design is within subjects design. Within subjects design is also known as repeated measure design. In repeated measure design or within subjects design, same subjects are employed in both the treatment conditions. The subjects are exposed to the first treatment condition and then the same subjects are exposed to the second treatment condition. So after they have been subjected to different conditions, their performance in different conditions are compared. Suppose we are going to compare the effect of reward in verbal learning task. We take a group of subjects. First, we test their verbal learning ability in no reward condition. Then, again, we test them in reward condition. So here, the same subjects are tested twice. So the same subjects are tested again and again. That's why it is called repeated measure design. The same subjects are measured repeatedly. As the between condition design, the within subject design can also be two conditions within subject design. So there are two conditions and it can also be multiple conditions within subject design. Two conditions within subject design involve two conditions and all the subjects experience both the conditions. And similarly, in multiple conditions within subject design, the same subjects are exposed to the multiple treatment conditions. And here, the statistical technique, when we have two groups, we also go for t-test, but it is a repeated measure t-test. And for ANOVA, we have also repeated measure technique. We go for ANOVA when we have more than two treatment conditions. In multiple condition design or in two condition within subject design, since the same subjects are exposed to different conditions, there is the possibility of the effect of order and sequence of testing. There is also possibility of practice and fatigue method. Since on same test they are tested again and again, it may be that in second condition they have there is practice effect. So there is the possibility of carryover effect. it is difficult to say whether the results are due to the independent variable, that is treatment condition, or the order of the condition. Um, for that, we need to control for order and sequence of the treatment conditions through randomization. We also go for counterbalancing. The treatment conditions are randomly presented to the subjects, and counterbalancing, several conditions can be presented only a few times. Then we can reverse or counterbalance the conditions to control for order effect. For example, A B BA design you must have heard. If we have three conditions ABC CBA, like that we counterbalance them. And if we compare the between group and within groups design, in between group one subject receives only one treatment. Within group design, each subject receives a number of treatments. In between group design, pre-existing intergroup differences may be there. Okay, because we are taking two groups or different groups. The groups may be different before being exposed to the independent variable, and that is a source of error. And in within group design, that source of error is not there because the same subjects are measured repeatedly. Um, but in between group design, chances of practice or carryover effect is not there. In within group design, chances of practice and carryover effect is there. In between group, since we are taking different subjects in the all the groups, more number of subjects are required. In within group, less number of subjects are required. Suppose we are taking a between group design, and in each condition we are taking two groups, and in each group we are taking 5 subjects. So we have all total 10 subjects. But in within group, if we are comparing two treatment conditions, the same subjects are employed in both the conditions, and if our group consists of 5 subjects, then we can do with only 5 subjects. So in within group design, less number of subjects are required. However, in between group design, the experiment may take less time because the same subjects are the different subjects are employed and they are tested only once. But in within group, the experiment may take more time. It may continue to extended period of time because after since the same subjects are employed, after finishing one condition, you will test the subjects for the second condition. Then coming to factorial design, we have discussed single factor design, then we come to factorial design.
Factorial design.
When we have more than one independent variable, then we use factorial design. Factorial designs may have 2 factors, 3 factors, 4 factors, etc., or any number of factors. and we can study or analyze the effects of more than one variables simultaneously. If we have a factorial design, suppose we have a two-factor design, we can analyze simultaneously the effect of two variables. Um, So a factorial design is one in which two or more variables or factors are employed in such a way that all the possible combinations of selected values of each variable are used. Suppose we have, let me clarify some words, some terms. Factors, you know, factor is the independent variable that is manipulated by the investigator or either directly or by selection. Then main effect. In factorial design, we come across a phrase that is main effect. This is the simplest effect. Main effect is the simplest effect of a factor on a dependent variable. So it is the effect of the factor alone averaged across all the levels of other factors. Suppose we have two factors, factor A and factor B. Let our factor A be a teaching method and factor B be ability. And each factor has two levels. Factor A has two levels, A1 and A2, and factor B, that is our ability, has also two levels, B1 and B2. Let our A1 be a lecture method and A2 be a discussion method. And our second factor ability B has also two levels, B1, B2. Let B1 is consists of bright students and B2 consists of dull students. So main factorial design is designed, the experiment is designed in such a way that all possible combinations of selected values of each variable are used. We have A1, A2, B1, B2. So we have four possible combinations, A1, B1, A2, B1, A1, B2 and A2, B2, four combinations. So all the four combinations are used. In our example of lecture method of teaching and discussion method of teaching, and bright students and dull students. So bright students are exposed to lecture method, bright students are exposed to discussion method, dull students are exposed to lecture method, and dull students are exposed to discussion method. So each combination of the factors are used. And what is main effect? Main effect is the effect of the factor alone averaged across all the levels of other factors. So main effect of A is effect of A on B1, effect of A on B2 and its average. So main effect of A is the average of A1, B1, average of effect of A on B1 and effect of A on B2. Similarly, main effect of B is average of effect of B on A1 and effect of B on A2. So, um, I think now you understand the main effect. There is another term, interaction effect. When we have more than one factors, the factors interact with each other and they have different effect on the dependent variable. So interaction means the effect of one independent variable depends on the level of another independent variable. The effect of one independent variable is different at different levels of the other independent variable. That means the effect of A at B1 is different from that of A at B2. Coming to our teaching method and ability experiment, effect of teaching method may be different for bright students and suppose for bright student lecture method may be less effective and for dull students maybe lecture method is more effective. So effect of teaching method is different for bright students and for dull students. For bright students, one method is more effective, and for dull students, the other method is more effective. So, if the performance of bright and dull students is affected differently by A1 and A2, that is our lecture method and discussion method, then there is an interaction effect. Okay. There are three types of interaction: antagonistic, synergistic, and ceiling effect. You can see them in your study book, which have been provided to you. Um, we have simple two-factor designs. There are two independent variables. If we have a 2 by 2 factorial design, means there are two independent variables, each one having two levels. That is a simple two-factor design. Suppose we have two factors, A and B. A has two levels, A1 and A2, and B has two levels, B1 and B2. So we have four treatment conditions: A1 B1, A2 B1, A1 B2, and A2 B2. We call this as 2 by 2 factorial design, and we write it as 2 into 2. We write it as 2 into 2 factorial, but we say it as 2 by 2. If we have two levels of one independent variable and three levels of the second independent variable, we would have a 2 by 3 factorial design. Okay, so suppose we have three levels of one independent variable, first independent variable A1, A2, A3, and two levels of B, that is B1, B2. We have six different combinations: A1, B1, A2, B1, A3, B1, and A1, B2, A2, B2, A3, B2. So we have six cells. Uh, if uh, okay, actually we can have as many factors and labels as we desire. and we have statistical packages available with us, and we can do the calculation. But with increasing complexity, with increasing number of factors, the data become complicated and it is very difficult to interpret. There will be a number of interaction effects which will be difficult to interpret. Why do we use a factorial design? Suppose we have a 2 by 2 factorial design. Um, we have two factors, teaching method, and we have a second independent variable, ability group. If we are going to compare the effect of teaching method on the academic achievement of subjects, what would we do? We have two teaching methods. We would take two groups. First group will be exposed to your lecture method of teaching, and the second group will be provided with or will be given discussion method of teaching, and we will have to conduct a t-test. Okay, and to find out
Ma'am,
the,
ma'am,
is
two by
someone saying something?
ma'am, yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah, okay.
two into two factorial design and two into three factorial design difference.
Yes.
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ
Yes.
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ବହିରେ ଯୋଉଟା ଦେଇଛି ସେଇଟା କିଛି ବୁଝି ହଉନି ଟିକେ ତ ଆଉ ଟିକେ କ୍ଲାରିଫାଇ କଲେ
Acha.
ଭଲ ହୁଅନ୍ତା।
2 by 2 factorial design mane, we have two independent variables and each independent variable has two labels. Label mane बुझुछ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା
हाँ, माने इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल डिफरेंट वैल्यू जो हमें दउचे सेटा होची लेबल। ओके। ଆମର ଧରାଯାଉ ଦୁଇଟା ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ଅଛି a and b and each independent variable has two labels. ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କହିଲି teaching method ଆଉ ability ଆମର ଦୁଇଟା independent variable. ଆମେ teaching method, we have two types of teaching methods, lecture method and discussion method. And we have two ability groups. Ability has also two levels. We have a group of bright students and we have a group of dull students. So ability has two levels and teaching method has also two levels. That is 2 by 2 factorial design. अच्छा हमें एटा काहे के 2 by 2 factorial design यूज करिबा हमें we have two independent variables means our objective is to find out the effect of a or teaching method, and second objective we have we are going to find out the effect of ability on achievement of the students. So we have to conduct two t-tests because each factor has two levels. We have to conduct two t-tests. बुझी होची जदि अलगा अलगा केरी करिबा
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
दीटा टी टेस्ट करबा को हबो. But if we adopt a factorial design, गोटे एनालिसिस रे गोटे टू वे एनालिसिस गोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट रे हमें दुईटा जकर इफेक्ट साइमल्टेनियसली पाई जिबा. साइमल्टेनियसली हमें टीचिंग मेथड इफेक्ट जानि जिबा एवं एबिलिटी रो इफेक्ट मध्ये जानि जिबा गोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट रे. सो हमर समय बंची जीव दीटा एक्सपेरिमेंट करिबा आवश्यक नाही. द्वितीय लाभ कौन है आमे इंटरैक्शन इफेक्ट एठी गोटे पाइबा. इंटरैक्शन इफेक्ट माने आज आई टोल्ड यू गोटे इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इफेक्ट आरो इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल जो डिफरेंट लेवल अछि सब लेवल ले भिन्न भिन्न अलग अलग. So the effect of one independent variable is different in different levels of the independent variables. So interaction effect, if we would go for 2T tests, we would not know the interaction effect. If we go for a factorial design, we would know the interaction effect. And as the single factor design where between group and within groups designs, in factorial designs we can also have within subject factorial design, between subject factorial design, and we can also have a mixed factorial design. Mixed factorial design mane hochi गोटे इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल थिबो बिटवीन सब्जेक्ट वेरिएबल आउ अन्य इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल विद इन सब्जेक्ट वेरिएबल थाई पारे. फॉर एग्जांपल मने करो हमर we are studying the effect of gender and alcohol on driving performance. ओके आमे सेठी कोन करिबा ना मने कर हमर रिसर्च डिजाइन दा कले जेंडर दिटा मेल और फीमेल ग्रुप नेले आ अल्कोहल डिफरेंट चारटा डिफरेंट क्वांटिटी रे.
Ma'am, so sorry, but no Udiya.
ओके
I
ओके आई एम सो सॉरी, आई एम सो सॉरी.
I do not understand, ma'am. Actually, so sorry about that.
I am so sorry. Okay,
No,
so suppose we are studying the effect of gender and alcohol on driving performance. Okay, we have two levels of gender, male and female, and we are administering them to four different quantities of alcohol. We will allow them to take alcohol at four different quantities. So our second variable, independent variable B, has four levels. Then we will test the driving performance. So the first independent variable is gender, male and female, and we have different subjects in both the groups, male group and female group. We have different subjects. So it is a between subject variable. Okay. And the second independent variable we are taking, we are allowing them to take alcohol at four different quantities. The same subjects are tested after taking alcohol at different quantities. So the same subject are tested repeatedly. So the second subject variable is a within subject variable. So we have one between subject variable and the other is within subject variable. It is a mixed factorial design. I have already told you the advantages of factorial design. And factorial design, we have to be careful that if the factorial design is a little bit more complicated, if the number of independent variables or factors are more, it may be difficult to interpret the interaction effect. There will be a number of interactions. Then correlational research design. I have already told you about the quasi-experimental design yesterday, and there are a number of different varieties of quasi-experimental designs in your book. You can go through them. And correlational research design. Correlational research designs are based on the assumption that everything affects and is affected by everything else. That means a variable affects and is affected by other variables. So in correlational design, two or more sets of data are collected from the same group of subjects. So same group of subjects are employed and two or more sets of data are collected, and the relationship between the two sets of data are determined. Thus, in this correlational research design, one studies the relationship among variables. In correlational design, actually, we cannot say that one variable is the cause of the other variable. Um, So here we are finding out association. We can have a research which find out the association between two variables, or we can also study the association among more than two variables. And another type of correlational variable, a correlational research, in which we are interested to predict the score on one variable using the knowledge about other variable or variables. Suppose we have two variables, academic performance and intelligence. We can find out the degree of association between the academic performance and intelligence, whether increase in one variable is associated with increase in the other variable or vice versa. It may be that increase in one variable is associated with decrease in the other. Um, Secondly, we can also predict the score on one variable using the knowledge about other variable. We can predict from the knowledge of intelligence, we can predict the score in academic performance. Here we will go for regression analysis. Regression analysis is a statistical technique in which we predict the score on one variable from the scores on the other variable or other variables. If we have more than let me clarify. The variable which we are going to predict is called the criterion variable, and the variables which are used to predict the criterion variable are known as predictor variables. If we have one variable, predictor variable, uh, we have simple regression, and if we have more than one predictor variable, we will go for multiple regression. Advantage of this design is it can be used foundation for other designs. First, we will go for the we will try to find out the degree of association between the variables, and in later study we may go for the experimental design, so that will enable us to find out a cause-effect relationship. And correlational designs doesn't involve repeated administration, so it is easy and less time consuming. Um, the major disadvantage is we cannot establish the cause-effect relationship. Okay. Do you have any doubt? All these designs are pictorially presented in your book, so you can go through the book to understand these designs. Do you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I think we
Ma'am,
should yes,
ma'am,
yes.
for the PPT, can you share your number or how should we get that?
PPT was prepared on the basis of your book. If you go through your book, you can also know it. If you understand the go through your book and understand it, I think there is no need of PPT. It is also pictorially presented in your book. PPT I was requiring
Ma'am,
just while teaching, I would have shown it to you.
right, ma'am. Ma'am, other than this subject, can I ask some question on the assignment?
Which assignment?
Ma'am, it's a general question. Is it like, are we supposed to submit all the assignments by 31st, or we can choose to submit some of them?
Actually, you have to ask your IGNO personnel. I have no idea about it. I
Okay.
am an
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
outsider.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good evening.
okay. Okay. Well, I think we should leave now. Good
Yes.
night.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.